Did you know that God is transgender? What do I mean by that? Human beings have been on this planet for about 300,000 years. Modern humans, maybe 100,000 years. We've been only civilized for 8,000 years at best. So that means there's a whole human history. And for most of that whole human history, God has not been the father or a man on a cloud. God has been feminine. God has been the sacred mother, Gaia, Mother Nature. The human history has shown us through artifacts, through cave paintings, through folk tales, that the notion of God as a female goes way back before God as a male. And it makes a lot of sense if you think of prehistoric society, you think of what people knew and what people didn't know. I mean, if a man bled, he would die. There was no urgent care in prehistoric Earth. If a woman bled, it was just that time of the month, and she's bleeding every month, and there's the moon going around every month. Ooh, that's kind of special. It's kind of spacey and special, women's bodies. Also, occasionally, other little people would just pop out of women's bodies. Men couldn't do that. Women were the life givers. There is this long history of this sacred feminine. And it makes sense, right? It makes sense to us when we think about it that way. So then the question is, what happened? How do we go from the sacred feminine to the male Yahweh, God the Father, warrior God, Zeus, and all that stuff? It didn't happen overnight. It happened over thousands of years of rewriting those stories, including nomadic invaders invading the goddess tribes and conquering them. But there's this notion that patriarchy is universal and always has been. Neither are true. We have a long history before patriarchy, and we also know that in cultures, as we count them, only about 80% of cultures on Earth are patriarchal. The rest are partnership societies. They're not matriarchal, right? The opposite of domination is not domination, but partnership. The other 20% are partnership societies on Earth, tribal societies in various places around the globe. And so this is really important to think about because we are in a very violent war fighting setting that we're getting from Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump. And it doesn't have to be that way. And in fact, it hasn't been that way through the majority of our human existence. This is something that we're going to be talking about in my February Feminar, Patriarchy in Practice. But it's something I'm always mindful of, that this sort of hyper-masculinity stuff is all just a performance of men who are afraid of looking at partnership with women. That's the way to go, boys. Welcome to the resistance.